I had been struggling with health issues that seemed never-ending for a long time. I followed all the medical recommendations and believed I was doing the right things. I went on diets, took medications, and even started exercising. But inexplicably, my health wasn't improving. With each passing day, my frustration grew. Then, during a service, I heard a story that would change my perspective. A woman shared her healing journey and mentioned simple mistakes that had kept her trapped in pain for so long. This revelation sparked a light within me. I realized I could be making the same mistakes without even knowing it. The first mistake I discovered was not getting enough proper rest. I believed that the harder I pushed myself, the better my body would become. However, in Exodus 20:8-10, we find the importance of rest. The Lord teaches us to pause and replenish our energies. My body was crying out for help, but I ignored its signals. The second mistake was related to my words. I spoke about my limitations and pains so frequently that they became a truth in my life. In Proverbs 18:21, we learn that life and death are in the power of the tongue. I began to replace negative statements with words of faith. Instead of saying I'm sick, I started to affirm I'm on the path to healing. The third mistake was a lack of gratitude. I focused only on the difficulties and forgot to thank God for the small victories each day. Gratitude is a powerful practice that transforms our perspective. In 1 Thessalonians 5:18, we are instructed to give thanks in all circumstances. As I began to express gratitude, I was flooded with a new sense of hope. The fourth mistake lay in comparison. I often saw other people overcoming their battles and felt inferior. This comparison only heightened my anxiety. Everyone has their own journey, and in Romans 12:6 we understand that we all have different gifts. Accepting my own story was liberating. Finally, the fifth mistake was the lack of connection with the community. I isolated myself, believing I could overcome everything on my own. However, in Hebrews 10:24-25, we are reminded of the importance of gathering together and encouraging one another. When I began to share my struggle, I realized the power of collective prayer, and it brought new light to my journey. Now, as I reflect on this journey, I see how essential these changes have been. Each mistake I identified became a life lesson. I started to see my body not just as a place of pain, but as a temple deserving care and respect. If you are also facing a health battle, know that there is hope. By making simple adjustments, you can open doors to the healing that God desires for you. Remember that your body listens to your words and your attitudes. Practice rest, speak words of life, give thanks, avoid comparisons, and connect with others. May your journey be filled with faith and transformation. In the end, healing is not just physical, but a complete renewal of being. May God bless each step you take on this path. Throughout this journey, I have realized that health is not just about the physical aspect. It is essential to care for the mind and spirit. Oftentimes, anxiety and stress can have a profound impact on our overall well-being. I decided that I needed to invest more in activities that brought peace and serenity into my life. Meditation and prayer became daily practices that helped me find a space of tranquility amid the chaos. In Philippians 4:6-7, we are instructed not to worry about anything, but to pray about everything. This passage resonated deeply with me. As I began to present my concerns and fears to God, the peace that surpasses all understanding began to fill my heart. This practice not only relieved my tensions, but also helped me focus on what really mattered. With each prayer, I felt a weight being lifted off my shoulders. Another area I noticed was crucial for my recovery was nutrition. I was so focused on following diets that I forgot to nourish my body properly. The Bible teaches us in 1 Corinthians 6:19-20 that our body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. This made me rethink my food choices. Rather than viewing food merely as a necessity, I began to see eating as a way to honor God. I started opting for foods that would truly nourish me, prioritizing fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. The change in my diet brought not only physical benefits, but also a mental clarity that I had never experienced before. Additionally, I recognized the importance of having a purpose. Often, when we are dealing with health issues, we can feel lost and directionless. In Jeremiah 29:11, God promises us plans of peace. This assurance encouraged me to seek a greater purpose even amidst pain. I began to engage in activities that made me feel useful, such as helping with community projects and serving at my church. The act of helping others gave me a renewed sense of worth and belonging. Throughout this process, I also sought professional support. Although I believed I could overcome everything on my own, I realized there's no shame in asking for help. I looked for a therapist who understood spiritual and emotional issues. This professional guided me through moments of doubt and helped me work on areas I didn't even know I needed to address. In Proverbs 11:14, we learn that where there is no guidance, the people fall, but in a multitude of counselors, there is safety. This wisdom encouraged me to seek support and not carry burdens alone. The practice of forgiveness also stood out in my journey. I carried wounds from the past that held me back from moving forward. Reflecting on what Jesus teaches us in Matthew 6:14-15 about forgiveness, I realized that holding on to resentments was like trapping myself in an emotional prison. I decided to let go of these hurts, not just to benefit others, but mainly to find freedom in my own heart. The feeling I experienced when I forgave was transformative, and my body began to respond positively to this new lightness. Additionally, nature played a significant role in my healing. Spending more time outdoors allowed me to feel God's presence in creation. Psalm 19:1 tells us that the heavens declare the glory of God. This connection with nature brought me a peace I didn't know I needed. Walking in parks or having moments of reflection in a garden became essential for my mental and spiritual health. The beauty around me reminded me that God is always present and active in my life. Last but not least, the development of faith in community was crucial. Participating in prayer groups and Bible studies was one of the best decisions I made. In Acts 2:42, we see the importance of fellowship among believers. This interaction provided me with a sense of belonging and encouragement that I didn't know I was missing. Sharing stories of struggle and victory with others strengthened me and reminded me that I am not alone on this journey. Thus, every step I took toward healing was a combination of practical and spiritual actions. I learned that health is an ongoing journey, not a destination. The healing I sought was the result of a commitment to my overall well-being, involving mind, body, and spirit. Every day is a new opportunity to grow and transform, and no matter how challenging the obstacles may be, there is always hope. I conclude this reflection by reaffirming the importance of taking care of oneself in a holistic way. By doing this, you not only open doors to healing, but also to a deep relationship with God and those around you. May your journey be marked by faith, gratitude, and love. May God bless each of you on your journey, and may you find the renewal you seek. One of the essential aspects of my journey has been the practice of discipline. Life is full of distractions, and often we lose focus on our health and well-being. I realized that establishing a routine not only helped me get organized, but also allowed me to dedicate time to the activities that truly mattered. In 1 Corinthians 9:24-25, we are reminded that we should run in such a way as to win the prize. This race requires focus and discipline. Therefore, I began to plan my day. I set specific times to pray, meditate, exercise, and even relax. This structure gave me a sense of purpose and kept me from falling into the trap of procrastination. Over time, I noticed that consistency in my activities brought me significant results, not only in terms of physical health, but also emotional and spiritual. Another important aspect was the practice of self-compassion. Throughout my journey, I realized that I often was hard on myself. I criticized myself for not being better, for not being able to do everything I wanted, or for not seeing quick results. However, in Psalm 103:13-14, we see that God shows compassion to us as a father shows compassion to his children. This passage reminded me that I should also be kind to myself. Learning to treat myself with compassion made all the difference. Instead of criticizing myself, I started recognizing that I was doing my best. This not only helped me relax, but also boosted my motivation to keep going. Self-compassion taught me that failure is part of the process, and each mistake brings a valuable lesson. Furthermore, the practice of simplicity became an ally in my pursuit of health. Often, we complicate things, believing we need complex solutions for our problems. However, in Matthew 6:34, we are advised not to worry about tomorrow. This message encouraged me to focus on the present and simplify my life. I began to eliminate excesses, both in my diet and daily activities. I opted for simpler, more nutritious meals, avoiding processed ingredients and focusing on fresh foods. When it came to activities, I prioritized those that truly brought me joy and satisfaction. This simplicity brought a lightness I had never experienced before. Self-care also became an essential practice. I realized that taking care of myself was not a selfish act, but a necessity. In Ephesians 5:29, we learn that no one hates their own body, but nourishes and cares for it. This teaching made me understand that to care for others, I must first take care of myself. I set aside moments to care for my appearance, engage in activities I loved, and even relax in a warm bath. These small acts of self-care not only improved my health, but also my self-esteem. When I feel good about myself, I can face challenges with more courage and confidence. Another significant point was the importance of keeping an open mind to learning. I have always sought knowledge about health and well-being, but I realized that often I was stuck in fixed ideas. In Proverbs 1:5, we are reminded that the wise will listen and increase their learning. This opening allowed me to explore new approaches, hear testimonies from others, and learn from different experiences. I experimented with new wellness practices that I hadn't considered before, such as yoga and breathing techniques. These activities not only helped me physically, but also provided me with a new mental perspective. Continuous learning has become a fundamental part of my journey, allowing me to grow and evolve in all areas of my life. Faith, of course, has been the foundation that supported all these changes. In Hebrews 11:1, we read that faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not seen. This belief gave me strength during difficult moments and helped me trust that healing was on its way. Faith allowed me to see beyond immediate circumstances and believe in a better future. Participating in worship services and events in my community has also been a transformative factor. Seeing the faith of others, hearing their testimonies, and participating in moments of worship renewed me. In Psalms 133:1, it says that it is good and pleasant when brothers dwell together in unity. This unity brought a sense of belonging and strength, reminding me that I am not alone on my journey. Finally, the practice of generosity stood out as one of the most profound transformations. Rather than focusing solely on my own struggles, I began to look at the needs of others. In Acts 20:35, we learn that it is more blessed to give than to receive. By helping those who were going through hardships, I realized that my pain became smaller, and my heart was filled with gratitude. Generosity not only helped others, but also brought renewed purpose to my life. With each act of kindness, I felt a deeper connection with God and humanity. This reminded me that, even in the midst of difficulties, there is always something we can offer. Looking back, I see that each of these practices was crucial to my healing journey. The transformation didn't happen all at once. It was a continuous process, where each step brought growth and learning. You too can experience this journey of transformation. May your path be filled with faith, love, and renewal. May God bless each of your steps and help you find the healing you seek. Throughout my journey, I realized that mental health is just as important as physical health. Emotions can impact our well-being in ways that we often don't understand. In difficult times, I sought to better understand my emotions and how they affected my life. The practice of self-reflection became a powerful tool. I set aside time each week to reflect on how I was feeling and which events might have influenced my emotional state. Writing down my thoughts in a journal helped me organize my ideas and recognize emotional patterns. In Psalms 139-23:24, we are invited to ask God to examine our hearts. This practice of self-reflection allowed me to identify areas that needed attention, such as anxiety and stress. By acknowledging these emotions, I began to actively work on managing them, using techniques such as deep breathing and visualization. The importance of social support cannot be overstated in our healing journey. Being surrounded by people who support and understand us is essential. Therefore, I sought to strengthen my bonds with friends and family. Participating in meetings and support groups has also been an enriching experience. Talking with others who faced similar challenges provided me with comfort and encouragement, along with a sense that I was not alone in this struggle. One aspect I hadn't considered before was the importance of keeping my mind occupied with positive things. I started looking for activities that brought me joy and satisfaction, such as learning a new hobby or revisiting an old interest. Crafting, for example, became a creative refuge where I could express my feelings and relax. By engaging in activities that stimulated my mind, I noticed that my stress decreased and my mental health improved. Reading uplifting books also played a crucial role in my transformation. I chose works that talked about faith, overcoming obstacles, and personal growth. With each page, I felt my thoughts renewed and my perspective on life broadened. In Romans 15:4, we learn that the scriptures provide us with hope and patience. This hope became a fuel for my journey, reminding me that God has a purpose for each of us. Additionally, the importance of physical exercise cannot be overlooked. I came to understand that movement is a way to release built-up tension and improve mental health. I started walking regularly, a simple action that made a significant difference. Exercise not only strengthens the body, but also releases endorphins that promote a sense of well-being. This practice became a time to connect not only with my body, but also with God, as I reflected and prayed during my walks. As mentioned earlier, nutrition was another aspect I revolutionized in my life. By committing to a balanced diet, I began to realize how what we consume impacts our mental health. Nutrient-rich foods not only help the body, but also influence our mood and energy levels. The decision to include more whole foods and fewer processed ones was a change that brought immediate benefits. I felt more energized and had clearer mental clarity. Another important aspect was cultivating a positive mindset. I learned that the way we approach adversity can make all the difference. In Philippians 4:8, we are encouraged to think about everything that is true, honorable, and praiseworthy. This led me to practice cognitive restructuring, where, whenever a negative thought arose, I would try to replace it with a positive one. This mindset shift wasn't easy, but over time, it became a habit that transformed my approach to challenges. The practice of meditation proved to be a powerful ally. I set aside a few minutes each day to sit in silence, focus on my breathing, and allow God's peace to fill my heart. In Psalm 46:10, we are reminded to be still and know that He is God. This stillness helped me find clarity and establish a deeper connection with the Holy Spirit. Meditation not only promoted a state of calm, but also helped me hear God's voice more clearly. In times of crisis, prayer became a safe haven. Constant communication with God allowed me to express my concerns, fears, and anxieties. In 1 Peter 5:7, we are instructed to cast all our anxiety on Him because He cares for us. This surrender was liberating, as I realized I no longer carried burdens alone. Through prayer, I found comfort, guidance, and strength to carry on. The practice of forgiveness also stood out as a vital element in my journey. By releasing hurts and resentments, I not only freed myself from emotional weight, but also allowed healing to flow in my life. Forgiveness, as taught by Jesus, became a daily practice. When I forgave, I began to feel a relief that impacted my physical and emotional health. This practice not only freed me, but also brought me closer to God, who is the source of all forgiveness. Ultimately, gratitude became a fundamental pillar in my life. I started keeping a gratitude journal, where I recorded daily blessings, no matter how small. In Psalm 107:1, we are invited to give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. This practice helped me focus on what I had, rather than what I lacked. Gratitude transformed my heart and allowed me to view life with new eyes. Each of these practices contributed to a journey of healing and transformation. By integrating physical, emotional, and spiritual aspects, I found a path to complete well-being. The journey is not linear, and there will be challenges, but I learned that perseverance is essential. Looking back, I see how much I've grown and how faithful God has been in every step. So, if you are struggling with health issues, know that there is hope and that simple changes can have a significant impact. Commit yourself to taking care of yourself holistically, engaging body, mind, and spirit. May your journey be marked by faith, love, and renewal, and may you experience the healing that God desires for you. As I continued to walk this path of healing, I realized that the practice of patience was fundamental. In a society that often values quick results, I learned that true transformation takes time. In James 1:4, we find that patience must complete its work so that we may be perfect and whole. This passage helped me understand that each step of my process was valuable and necessary. Instead of rushing for results, I began to appreciate the small victories along the way. Discipline was also a standout aspect of my journey. In 2 Timothy 1:7, we are reminded that God gave us a spirit of courage and discipline. This encouraged me to establish a routine that included moments for prayer, reading, and self-care. When planning my day, I made sure that each activity was aligned with my health and wellness goals. Over time, this structure became a powerful ally, helping me maintain focus and determination. Another important point was the practice of learning to say no. Often we feel obligated to meet all the demands around us, but this can be detrimental to our health. In Galatians 1:10, we are challenged to please God rather than people. This message encouraged me to prioritize my needs and set healthy boundaries. I learned that by taking care of myself, I was better equipped to help others. The practice of emotional self-examination became essential. I set aside time to reflect on how I was feeling and why. In Lamentations 3:40, we are instructed to examine our ways and return to the Lord. By doing this, I was able to identify emotional triggers and work proactively to manage them. This awareness helped me understand the root of many of my challenges and find healthy ways to cope with them. Additionally, the importance of sleep cannot be underestimated. I realized that adequate rest is vital for recovery and mental health. In Psalm 127:2, we read that God gives sleep to His beloved. This passage reminded me of the need to value my rest as a blessing. I established a sleep routine, ensuring my body had enough time to recover and rejuvenate. This made a significant difference in my energy levels and overall well-being. The practice of taking care of my environment has also become a priority. A well-organized and welcoming space contributes to a calm mind. In 1 Corinthians 14:40, we are guided to do everything decently and in order. I started reorganizing my home, eliminating clutter, and creating an environment that promotes peace and serenity. This change not only improved my emotional state, but also helped me feel more productive and focused. Connection with nature has also proven essential. Spending time outdoors, whether walking in a park or simply sitting in a garden, brought refreshing relief. In Genesis 1:31, we see that God looked at everything He had made and saw that it was very good. This natural beauty reminded me of God's greatness and the importance of taking care of what He created. This connection brought a sense of peace and renewal that I didn't know I needed. The practice of seeking continuous knowledge has been another valuable tool. In Proverbs 18:15, we read that the heart of the wise seeks knowledge. This encouraged me to invest time in learning about health, spirituality, and well-being. I attended workshops, read books, and watched talks that covered relevant topics. This learning not only equipped me with practical information, but also inspired me to adopt new approaches to my health. Self-awareness has also been fundamental. In Psalm 139:14, we are reminded that we are beautifully made. This awareness that I am a unique creation of God motivated me to embrace my individuality. I learned to value my qualities and work on the areas that needed development. This acceptance brought me a new freedom and confidence, allowing me to embrace who I am. Throughout this journey, the practice of generosity was transformative. In 2 Corinthians 9:7, we are reminded that God loves a cheerful giver. As I helped others, I found that my pain became less burdensome. This not only connected me with others, but also brought a renewed purpose to my life. With each act of kindness, I felt a joy that contributed to my healing. Ultimately, the importance of maintaining a positive mindset was one of the biggest lessons I learned. In Romans 12:2, We are challenged not to conform to this world, but to be transformed by the renewing of our minds. This mental renewal encouraged me to replace negative thoughts with positive ones. I began to practice gratitude daily, acknowledging the blessings in my life and focusing on what was good. Each of these elements intertwined in my journey, contributing to a holistic transformation. By integrating physical, emotional, and spiritual practices, I found a path to complete well-being. The journey is not easy, but every step taken toward healing is a testament to the power of God in our lives. If you find yourself in a place of struggle, know that there is hope. Transformation is possible through small, consistent changes. By caring for yourself holistically, you can open doors to the healing that God desires for you. May your journey be marked by faith, gratitude, and love, and may you find the renewal you seek. May God bless every step you take on this journey, and may you experience the fullness of His love and care. Throughout this transformative journey, I've realized that one often overlooked aspect is the importance of creating a healthy environment around me. The space where we live and work can directly impact our well-being. In 1 Corinthians 14:40, we learn that we should do everything decently and in order. This passage inspired me to organize my space, eliminating clutter and creating an environment that promotes peace and tranquility. Visual clutter can be a significant source of stress. By simplifying my environment, I not only felt calmer, but also noticed an increase in my productivity. The act of reorganizing my home brought me a new perspective. I established specific areas for different activities, such as reading, praying, and working, which helped me stay focused on each task. Additionally, the practice of cultivating gratitude daily has become an essential pillar in my life. Taking time to reflect on the things I'm thankful for has helped me maintain a positive mindset. In Psalms 107:1, we are reminded to give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. This practice has taught me to recognize the small blessings that often go unnoticed. Writing in a gratitude journal has become a habit. Each day, I would jot down at least 3 things I was grateful for. This simple exercise not only improved my mood, but it also helped me focus on the positive, even in difficult times. Over time, I realized that this shift in focus had a significant impact on my mental and emotional health. The practice of exercising also stood out as a key factor. I always knew that movement was important, but I realized I needed to incorporate physical activity regularly into my routine. In 1 Corinthians 6:19-20, we are reminded that our body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. This understanding motivated me to take better care of my body. I started walking daily, even if only for 20 minutes. This simple practice helped me release endorphins, which are known to improve mood. Walking also became a time for reflection and prayer, allowing me to connect with God while I exercised. In addition to hiking, I explored other physical activities, such as yoga and stretching, which not only improved my physical strength, but also promoted relaxation and inner peace. Another area I decided to focus on was nutrition. I realized that what I put into my body affects my mental and emotional health. In Genesis 1:29, God provides us with a clear vision of the importance of the foods that nourish us. I started to choose a diet richer in fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, while reducing my intake of sugar and processed foods. This change not only brought physical benefits, but also improved my mental clarity. Over time, I realized that mindful and healthy eating was not just about restrictions, but about honoring my body and God's creation. Preparing meals became a moment of enjoyment, where I could try new recipes and nourish myself properly. This approach helped me feel more energetic and ready to take on the day. Additionally, my connection with nature proved to be a source of renewal. Spending time outdoors, whether in a park or garden, brought a peace I didn't know I needed. In Psalms 19:1, we read that the heavens declare the glory of God. This natural beauty reminded me of the greatness of creation and the importance of caring for what God has made. As I connected with nature, I noticed how it positively impacted my emotional well-being. The moments spent outdoors allowed me to slow down, reflect, and appreciate the beauty around me. Walking in natural environments became a form of meditation and prayer that helped me find a space of tranquility. When it came to mental health, I sought ways to better understand and manage my emotions. The practice of self-reflection became a valuable tool. I set aside time each week to reflect on my feelings and identify which events may have influenced my emotional state. This self-analysis helped me recognize patterns and proactively work on areas that needed attention. The importance of social support cannot be underestimated. Being surrounded by people who support and understand me is essential for my healing journey. Therefore, I sought to strengthen my connections with friends and family. Participating in support groups and faith communities provided me with a sense of belonging and encouragement. Talking to others who were facing similar challenges brought comfort and reminded me that I am not alone in this fight. These interactions created a safe space where I could share my concerns and hear about others' experiences. This connection to the community was a crucial aspect of my healing journey. The practice of generosity also stood out in my transformation. Helping others not only brought joy, but allowed me to see beyond my own struggles. In Acts 20:35, we are reminded that it is more blessed to give than to receive. This awareness motivated me to engage in actions that would benefit those around me. Every act of kindness and generosity connected me more deeply with God and with humanity. It reminded me that even amid difficulties, there is always something we can offer, and that every small action matters. Each time I helped someone, I felt my heart swell with gratitude and purpose. Ultimately, the practice of patience became one of the greatest lessons from this journey. In James 1:4, we learn that patience must have its complete work. This passage helped me understand that true transformation takes time. Instead of rushing for results, I began to value each step in my process. I realized that the healing journey is not linear and that challenges will arise along the way. But perseverance is essential. Every step taken toward healing is a testament to God's power in our lives. If you find yourself in a place of struggle, know that there is hope. Transformation is possible through small, consistent changes. Dedicate yourself to caring for yourself holistically, involving body, mind, and spirit. May your journey be marked by faith, gratitude, and love, and may you find the renewal you seek. May God bless each step you take on this journey, and may you experience the fullness of His love and care. As I continue this healing journey, I've realized the importance of being aware of my emotions and how they can influence my health. The practice of self-reflection, which I had already begun, has become an essential habit. I've set aside specific time each week to reflect on my emotional state, identifying what brings me joy and what causes me stress. This practice not only helped me better understand my feelings, but also allowed me to manage the situations that affected me more effectively. In Psalms 139:23-24, we are called to ask God to examine our hearts. This prayer has become part of my self-reflection process, allowing space for God to speak to my spirit and show me areas that needed attention. Understanding that emotions are normal and that it is okay to feel sadness, anxiety, or frustration has given me a new perspective. I didn't need to hide or minimize what I felt. Instead, I could bring everything to God in prayer. Another area I've focused on is the practice of open communication. Talking about my struggles with friends and family has been a great relief. In Galatians 6:2, we are instructed to bear one another's burdens. Sharing my experiences not only helped me feel lighter, but it also strengthened my bond with those around me. By listening to the stories of others, I realized I wasn't alone in my journey, and many faced similar challenges. The importance of staying informed also became clear. Continuing to learn about health, spirituality, and well-being has provided me with valuable tools. I read books, watched lectures, and participated in workshops that taught me new approaches to dealing with my struggles. Knowledge not only empowered me, but also helped me apply practices that improved my well-being. In Hosea 4:6, we find the warning that my people perish for lack of knowledge. This truth became a call to seek wisdom in all aspects of life. Additionally, I established a self-care routine that included moments of relaxation and fun. I understood that taking care of myself was not a luxury, but a necessity. In Ephesians 5:29, we learn that no one hates their own body, but feeds and cares for it. This understanding led me to dedicate time to activities that truly bring me joy, such as hobbies, reading, and leisure moments. These practices not only improved my mental health, but also renewed my spirit. Maintaining a healthy diet remained a priority. By choosing a balanced diet, I began to notice changes not just in my body, but also in my mind. In Matthew 4:4, we read that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. This passage reminded me of the importance of nourishing my body with food that honors God's creation, as well as feeding my spirit with His Word. The connection between what we eat and how we feel is real, and this awareness changed my approach to eating. The practice of daily prayer was one of the pillars that supported my journey. In 1 Thessalonians 5:17, we are instructed to pray without ceasing. This constant communication with God has allowed me to open my heart to Him, expressing my worries and anxieties. In doing so, I found a comfort that transcended my circumstances. Prayer has become my refuge and my strength, where I could rest and renew my faith. Meditation has also become a central practice in my life. I set aside daily time to quiet my mind and focus on God's presence. In Psalms 46:10, we are reminded to be still and know that He is God. This stillness brought a sense of peace I didn't realize I needed. During these moments, I reflected on God's promises and allowed myself to feel His presence more intensely. Another significant aspect was developing a mindset of gratitude. I kept a gratitude journal where I recorded daily blessings, big and small. This practice helped me focus on the positive, even during challenging times. In Psalms 107:1, we are reminded to give thanks to the Lord, for He is good. As I wrote down my blessings, my perspective on life began to change. Each day became an opportunity to recognize what God was doing in my life. The practice of forgiveness also continued to be a vital part of my journey. I realized that holding on to past hurts was like carrying an unnecessary burden. In Matthew 6:14-15, Jesus teaches us about the importance of forgiving to be forgiven. I decided to let go of these hurts, and in doing so, I experienced an emotional lightness that impacted my physical health. Forgiveness not only set me free, but also brought me closer to God, allowing His grace to flow in my life. My connection with nature has proven essential to my well-being. Spending more time outdoors, even if it was just in a local park, brought a renewal that I didn't expect. In Genesis 1:31, God saw that everything was very good. The beauty around me reminded me of the greatness of creation and the importance of caring for what He made. Nature became a space for reflection, where I could hear God's voice and give thanks for His wonders. Participating in community activities also became an important part of my life. Helping others, whether through volunteering or simply offering support to friends, brought a new sense of purpose. In Acts 20:35, we learn that it is more blessed to give than to receive. This practice made me realize that in serving, I was also being served in spirit. Each act of kindness became an opportunity to experience God's generosity in my own life. Additionally, the practice of maintaining a healthy environment around me became a priority. In 1 Corinthians 14:40, we are instructed to do everything in order and decently. Organizing my space not only brought clarity, but also a sense of peace. A clean and welcoming environment contributed to my mental and emotional well-being, allowing me to focus better on the activities that truly mattered. The importance of setting boundaries also became evident. In Galatians 1:10, we are challenged to please God rather than man. I learned that saying no to certain demands is essential for preserving my well-being. Setting boundaries allowed me to prioritize what truly mattered and dedicate time to the activities that renewed my soul. Finally, the practice of patience taught me that the journey of healing is ongoing. In James 1:4, we learn that patience must have its complete work. This understanding helped me appreciate every step and realize that true transformation takes time. Instead of seeking immediate results, I learned to trust in God's timing and appreciate the growth that each day brings. This journey has been a combination of various practices and principles that have transformed my life. By integrating physical, emotional, and spiritual aspects, I found a path to complete well-being. With each step, I am getting closer to the healing that God desires for me. If you find yourself struggling on your own journey, remember that there is hope and that small changes can lead to big transformations. May your walk be marked by faith, gratitude, and love. May you experience the renewal you seek, and may God bless each step you take on this journey. As I continued to navigate this path of transformation, the importance of discipline became even more evident. I realized that without a structured plan, it was easy to stray from the path I had set for my health. In 1 Corinthians 9:24, we are reminded to run in such a way as to get the prize. This verse resonated in my heart and motivated me to create a routine that included daily activities focused on my well-being. I began to establish fixed times for my practices of prayer, meditation, and exercise. This structure not only helped me stay organized, but also gave me a sense of responsibility. By setting aside time to care for myself, I noticed I was prioritizing my health. This discipline started to reflect in all areas of my life, bringing a new focus and clarity. Moreover, the practice of emotional self-examination became a crucial part of my routine. In Lamentations 3:40, we are urged to examine our ways. I set aside a moment each week to reflect on how I felt about the different situations I faced. Writing down my thoughts in a journal helped me organize my emotions and understand what was happening inside me. This practice not only allowed me to identify patterns, but also helped me manage anxiety and stress more effectively. I realized that it was essential to express my emotions in a healthy way. Talking with friends and family about what I was feeling became a form of relief. In Galatians 6:2, we are instructed to bear one another's burdens. This practice of sharing my struggles not only helped me feel lighter, but also strengthened the bonds with those around me. By opening my heart and sharing my experiences, I discovered that many were facing similar challenges. This connection with others brought a sense of belonging and encouragement that I didn't know I needed. Social support proved to be a powerful tool in my healing journey. The practice of keeping an open mind to learning also stood out. In Proverbs 1:5, we are reminded that the wise will listen and increase their knowledge. This openness allowed me to explore new approaches to health and well-being. I attended workshops, watched lectures, and read books that addressed mental health and spirituality. The knowledge I gained not only empowered me, but also provided me with new tools to tackle challenges. In addition to seeking knowledge, I established a self-care routine that included moments of relaxation and fun. I realized that taking care of myself was not a selfish act, but a necessity. In Ephesians 5:29, we learn that no one hates their own body, but feeds and cares for it. This understanding motivated me to dedicate time to activities that truly brought me joy, such as hobbies and leisure time. These practices not only improved my mental health, but also rejuvenated my spirit. Healthy eating continued to be a priority. By choosing a balanced diet, I noticed changes not only in my body, but also in my mind. In Genesis 1:29, God gives us a clear vision of the importance of the foods that nourish us. This awareness changed my approach to eating. The connection with nature has also proven essential for my well-being. Spending time outdoors, whether in a park or garden, brought a peace I didn't know I needed. In Psalms 19:1, we read that the heavens declare the glory of God. This beauty around me reminded me of the greatness of creation and the importance of caring for what He has made. The practice of walking in natural settings became a form of meditation and prayer that helped me find a space of tranquility. During these walks, I reflected on God's promises and allowed myself to feel His presence more intensely. This connection with nature not only brought emotional relief, but also reminded me of the importance of appreciating the little things. I decided it was important to maintain a healthy environment around me. In 1 Corinthians 14:40, we are instructed to do everything in order and decency. Organizing my space not only brought clarity, but also a sense of peace. A clean and welcoming environment contributed to my mental and emotional health, allowing me to focus better on the activities that truly mattered. The practice of generosity also stood out in my transformation. Instead of solely focusing on my own struggles, I began to look at the needs of others. In Acts 20:35, we learn that it is more blessed to give than to receive. This awareness motivated me to engage in actions that benefited those around me. Every act of kindness became an opportunity to experience God's generosity in my own life. Lastly, the practice of patience became one of the greatest lessons of this journey. In James 1:4, we learn that patience must complete its work. This passage helped me understand that true transformation takes time. Instead of seeking immediate results, I learned to trust in God's timing and appreciate the growth that each day brings. This journey has been a combination of various practices and principles that have transformed my life. By integrating physical, emotional, and spiritual aspects, I found a path to complete well-being. Every step I took brought me closer to the healing that God desires for me. Transformation is not instantaneous. It is a continuous process. If you find yourself struggling on your own journey, know that there is hope. Transformation is possible through small, consistent changes. Dedicate yourself to caring for yourself in a holistic way, involving body, mind, and spirit. May your walk be marked by faith, gratitude, and love. May you experience the renewal you seek, and may God bless every step of your journey. Life is full of challenges, but it is also rich with opportunities for growth and learning. As we look at our struggles as opportunities for transformation, we find a new purpose and direction. Remember each day that you are not alone, and that there is a community ready to support you on your journey. Throughout this journey, I realized the importance of establishing a self-care routine. The discipline of taking care of myself became essential for my well-being. In 1 Timothy 4:8, we learn that physical exercise is of value for the present and future life. Incorporating regular physical activities not only improved my physical health, but also lifted my mood. Daily walks, stretching, and even dances at home became fun and invigorating parts of my daily routine. Another aspect that could not be overlooked was the importance of maintaining a healthy mental space. I understood that the organization of my mind was closely linked to the organization of my physical environment. In 2 Corinthians 10:5, we are taught to take every thought captive to the obedience of Christ. This motivated me to be intentional in choosing my readings and the content I consumed. By prioritizing uplifting and inspiring materials, I was able to cultivate a more positive mindset. The practice of setting goals also proved essential. In Proverbs 16:3, we are instructed to commit our works to the Lord, and our plans will succeed. Establishing small daily and weekly goals gave me a sense of purpose and direction. This approach helped me maintain focus on the changes I wanted to implement, making each small step forward a victory. Additionally, I sought moments of disconnection from technology. In such a connected world, it's easy to feel overwhelmed. I set aside times during my day to step away from screens, which allowed me to recharge my energy and concentrate on the here and now. This break helped clear my mind and boost my productivity. Finally, the practice of self-assessment became a habit I would not let go of. By regularly asking myself how I felt and what I could improve, I kept a constant dialogue with myself. This reflection allowed me to identify areas for growth and celebrate my progress, even the small wins. Over time, I realized that this holistic care not only led me to better health, but also strengthened my faith and my connection with God. Share this blessed video so it can touch and help others like you and me. Want to delve even deeper into faith and prayer? Download our exclusive ebook on how to strengthen your spirituality in today's world. The link is in the comments below. Don't forget to click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being part of our faith community. If you'd like to support our channel a bit more, consider becoming a member of our channel. I am leaving here 2 more videos for you to continue your spiritual journey and growth in faith. Thank you, and may God bless you all. See you later.